Okay, we're on. Hello. So, Stephen, at Stephen Kendall, this is at Starkers. We wanted to discuss this concept of Steem Bonds. So Steem Bonds is something we've been discussing during the summer together, and I did a bit of a video a couple of weeks ago before Steam Fest on a nice beach, talking to Ashley Pete and Thomas George about what Steem Bonds are and how we can progress with them. It was amongst other things, but that was kind of the thing. So what we thought we'd do in this discussion is just have a quick kind of simple, informal chat about what we think Steem Bonds are. Stephen did a great post the other day, and there was some really great comments on it. So we just wanted to go into what those bonds were and who the people were commenting on it, and sort of discuss a way forward with that. So what are your thoughts on it there, Stephen?
Well, absolutely. Well, Matt, you and I had spoken over the last few months about various mechanisms that we could put in place to lock in value into the Steem ecosystem. And one of the things that we've talked about on many occasions is Steem Bonds. Now, for anybody who's listening to this, and as this is the first time they've heard of this as an idea, a Steem Bond is effectively taking steam power that a user wouldn't want to power down for which is at the moment 13 weeks, but would rather lock it in for a longer period, maybe 12 months or a year or 3 years or 5 years, and
That's
effectively, yeah, and effectively, what that will give is a situation where you're effectively taking off potential steam off the open market, and I know we talked about this a while ago and have done over the last few months continually. And after you did the little chat on the beach with, like you say, with Ashley and Thomas, I put this blog. And the whole idea was just to see what people thought. And a couple of comments came in, one from Sky Trex, and another comment came in from J4 Real.
TJ for real, yeah?
Sorry, yeah, TJ for real, TJ for real. And of course, there is various different ways that we can do it as far as the reward goes, but whether it's delegated power, which will be then given to the person who locks away their bond, locks away their steam in a bond, or whether it's an increase in rewards from 2%, say, to 10%, or some form of a fixed loan repayment. It doesn't really matter what the mechanism would be for the reward. The whole idea is to see whether or not there is other people in the community who would be willing to actually say, you know what, my steam power, I have no intentions of powering down, so I would be interested to lock that away, put it in, in a pot, put a key on it. You've got your steam power for delegation, but it just means that you can't power down. And I'd be very interested, and I'm sure you are, Matt, I know you are, how many people would actually see this as something that they would be interested in doing? So
yeah. So this interests me because I think there's a significant proportion of the whales who are still in Steam for the long run, right? They're not interested in powering down. It's like the hardcore diehard. You and I are examples of that. Yeah, I'm not powering down. There may be a time where I need to power down once, yeah, but I'm not planning on powering down apart from that, right? And so I'm in this for the long run, as you are, right? So why would it be? I mean, obviously the blockchain's new and everything's new about Steem, right? So we can't expect it all to be all bells and whistles immediately. And this is why we need to have these discussions. But why would you just give everyone 13 weeks who wants to lock in, when you could have some at 13 weeks, some at a year, some at 6 months, some at 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, yeah? And reward those people proportionately, whether it be increased interest payments, or whether it be increased voting power, or maybe a combination of the two. Maybe there's different options, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so actually, I was lucky enough to just pull Ned aside for one moment at Steamfest and talk to him about this. It was very brief, but he said, yeah, why not use an SMT to do that, right? And it's just like, because obviously I'm still learning about the implication of SMTs, but of course, why couldn't we build an SMT that had a certain payout in Steam based on a lock-in period, right? So then you've got your Steem Bond SMT, and then the question is, so how do we proceed with this? So, of course, well, I speak for myself, but maybe you as well, that I'm not the technical type that could actually set this up. But in terms of the principles of it, I want to talk about it on the platform, get traction in the community, and then see if we can find a developer or someone on the platform that would want to go forward with this kind of idea of locking in steam power for a longer period of time, call it a steam bond of some sort, and go from there, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Matt, what I'd like to try and do with this video is keep it as brief as we possibly can, and to reach out into the community and basically just get effectively or ask 3 questions. Question number 1, are there people in the community that would be interested in locking away their steam power for a longer period of time for a reward? First question. Second question, what other options are there available for the ones on top of the ones that we've already talked about as far as getting a reward back? And 3, and like you've said, is there anybody out there who could actually, from a technical point of view, put a proposal together or suggest how we could actually implement smart media tokens and put the mechanism in place? And I certainly for one definitely would be very interested in locking away my steam power for a long period, and you know, maybe 3, 4, 5 years, you know, absolutely. So I'd be very interested, Matt, just to see exactly how many people are interested in this, and whether or not this is something that we could run with and discuss and develop a little bit further.
A little bit further of a step with this, if we can take it that for the next couple of minutes, is how the interest rates would be set, right? So I think initially we'd want to set them at certain rates to keep simplicity, but I got the feeling that eventually these interest rates could be something that are traded on a free market, you know, and we could, you know, you end up getting, based on supply and demand of what the sort of, for the steam bonds, you end up with a derivative interest rate of some sort as a result. It's an open market decided free market price, right? And it's just the cogs are exploding again in my head with it, and I think it's really interesting going forward. So yeah.
Okay, so keeping it short and sweet, Steem Bonds, is this something that people are interested in seeing and being implemented? So let's see what happens, Matt.
Okay, see you next time.
All right, cheers, Matt. Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Right.
Okay, we recorded that one.